session I want to do is on how to build your family into a team. And it's page 58. A single guy goes into a restaurant to have a meal. He's sitting by himself and the waiter comes up and says, "Sir, we're rather crowded tonight. Do you mind if you share your table with this young lady?" He looks up and she's gorgeous. He said, "Oh no, that's fine." She sits down and he finds she's an American. He said, "Oh, you're touring around New Zealand." She said, "No, I'm here on research." He said, "Well, what are you researching?" Well, she said, "I'm doing a research from the University of California. I'm going around the world and New Zealand's my last port of call and I'm finding out which nation has the men with the most sex appeal." "Oh," he said, "what have you found out?" Well, she said, "Amazingly enough, the North American Indian men have the most sex appeal." "Oh," he said, "who's next?" She said, "Well, the Scottish men." She said, "By the way, we haven't been introduced. What's your name?" He said, "Tonto McPherson." Don't you love it, eh? Seize the day. Seize the opportunity, okay? So, I want to encourage you to seize the opportunity to build your family into a team. A friend of mine, John Cooney, the editor of The Grapevine, fabulous magazine, this is what he wrote. "Once upon a time, there was a mythical family in which everyone smiled all the time, hugged adoringly, and waited upon each other with unspeakable joy. When the kids were little, they said, 'Please, thanks, pardon, you first,' without having to be smacked. They didn't leave Milo all through the sugar, sand all over the soap, or dog biscuits floating in the toilet. As they grew older, they each loved the same thing on their sandwiches. They declined all pocket money, lollies, or bribes. They offered to cook breakfast, polish the silverware, and massage Mum's feet for her when they were tired. When the kids were adolescents, the blessings just kept flowing. They wiped up after eating, hung up after showering, and filled the car after driving. They preferred 2-for-1 bargains rather than designer clothes. They complained about not having enough homework. They begged to pay board the moment they started working. They tuned into Dad's nice music instead of that awful rubbish their friends listened to. Once upon a time, there was a mythical family where the kids blossomed without blemish, left home at peace with all, married happily ever after, and shouted Mum and Dad a world trip just to say thanks." Meanwhile, back on Earth, countless parents are willing to testify in court if necessary that real families aren't remotely like that smolchy nonsense, that raising kids often causes pain, not pleasure, and that parenting turns normal, sane, intelligent grown-ups into pale, frail, stammering zombies. Why do we do it? Why do we insist on having children and punishing ourselves the same way our parents did? Because nobody tells us the truth, that's why. It all begins in those antenatal classes where they tell you stuff like, having a child may bring a few changes into your life. They are lies. Having children brings heaps of changes into your life. Very good, isn't it? And that's the issue I want to talk about now. You see, if my third form science teacher was right, coal and diamonds are both carbon. But the diamond's been under pressure, and that's why it's worth more. You see, the oyster's got it right. That bit of sand must be a real pain in its butt or in its shell, all right? But it turns it into a pearl. Now, pain can really enrich you if you handle it right. Problems, if you can turn them into significant life-learning situations, can make things work. And the amazing thing about parenting, you can re-parent yourselves as you're parenting your own kids. See, Mary and I never came from perfect families. We did lots of things right. We say this in our marriage seminars, you know. You stand there on the marriage day, you think you're wearing a suit and a dress, but really you're carrying 2 suitcases. It's all the baggage from your past, isn't it? And but when you're parenting your own kids, you can re-parent yourself. And we've had a lot of fun doing it. So we just want to encourage you in this. See, a lot of kids would say to us, "I don't feel loved by my parents." Now, we very rarely met parents who didn't love their kids. So the operative word was feel. I don't feel loved by my